and they just think, oh,
we're live. Hello.
Yay.
Welcome to Swords and Schemes and Magical Things is what the women of LitRPG are made of. We have KT Hanna, J Boyce, Carrie Summers, and EC Godhand. Hello. We're going to do some intros real quick. We're going to start with KT and just go way over. KT, starting with you.
Hi, I'm the author of the Somnia Online series, which is a complete series with 7 books in it. I also have the Last Chance series, which is like a sci-fi sort of lit RPG. Yeah, that was Alexa was there. And
talking to you, or
I know, right? No, it was like my watch is like, oh. And I have a book with Tao Wong coming out on the 1st of November in the System Apocalypse universe called Town Under. Because pun intended.
Down under.
we pun here in LitRPG.
Yes, we are. We pun a lot.
Nice.
I'm gonna go because I'm next. I'm Jay Boyce. Hi guys. I have 2 different series out right currently. I am doing A Touch of Power, which is my main series. I'm working on book 4 right now. Hopefully that'll come out sometime around the new year-ish if editing and stuff gets done. I'm still writing it, so that has to happen before the editing. I also have my new series, which is Lotus Lake, Mystic Mage series, and that will be getting written after I finish book 4. So, that's me.
Hi, I'm Carrie Summers. I have 2 series also. My longer series, oh God, my cat. I've had shoulder surgery and I can't pick him up. Sorry. My longer series is called Stonehaven League. It's 7 books now, and I'm working on book 8. Finally, I took a little break from that and wrote a trilogy called Tales of the Northblood. They share a world, but they have very different premises. And looking forward to talking with you.
So I'm Emily. I write in the Brooding Gate Online series as my first series, where it's the Heart Valor Healer, and it follows this priest as she uncovers the dark cults and everything. But I main healer in real life is what I say, and in all the video games. I'm also a nurse, and I love playing healing classes, so I wrote a healer.
Nice. Well, thank you. Welcome to Swords and Schemes and Magical Things is what the women of LitRPG are made of. So the first question I want to start out with is, what inspired you to write in the LitRPG genre?
I guess I'll talk. I've been gaming. Yeah, I know, right? I'll stop. I've been gaming since EverQuest back in 1999. Actually, I played Ultima Online before that for a little bit, but not as much as EverQuest. And then I met my husband in EverQuest 2 in 2005 and moved to America in 2007 from Australia. And then, and I've been here for 14 and a half years. We've played every single MMO pretty much that's ever come out. And I'm playing New World right now. So I mean, it was just like, I already wrote sci-fi and I love fantasy. And I was like, well, guess I'll just write about my favorite class, which nobody makes anymore, which is an enchanter, mind magic, hello. Like the best thing. And they're like, oh no, you can't have characters that can control characters anymore because that's unfair. Anyway, and I love blood mages. So I have a blood mage in my books. And I think my next series is going to have lots of blood mages. So yeah, that's why I write in LitRPG, because I play the crap out of it. So
Nice.
If I didn't have a child, I would be playing now. But now I have an actual life sometimes. So
only sometimes.
Children.
I was actually editing. I was editing web novels that were being translated from Chinese and Korean into English, and they were Gamelit or LitRPG books that were like the progenitors of the series, because the Koreans and the Chinese are actually doing this a long time ago. And me and my brother were talking about it, and I was making him read stuff, and he started making me read stuff that was on Amazon and Royal Road, actually. And it just kind of took off, and he started writing his book, and I started editing for him. And then I got this idea, and I was like, all right, let's try this. And then there was a book and a contract, and things happened. So I kind of fell into it, but I love the genre so much that I wouldn't go back. Like, I'm not going to do anything else. It's good. It's my genre.
Awesome. Well, I still am now. I've gone back. I spent many years as a game programmer, and I worked on the EverQuest franchise and on other MMOs. And it's a lot of work. A lot of work. And you have this, like, you imagine like everything that it could be. And I think it can still be that someday. But the things that I wanted out of a game, I think I actually started back in MUDs and then played EverQuest and these things. And for me, that feeling, those feels were just so unique and so amazing. And then I read a couple LitRPG books, and I was like, oh my gosh, you can put this, like, these feels that you get from a game into a book, and you can combine the different things. It's just amazing. So yeah, now I'm trying to balance game programming and writing LitRPG, and maybe not always doing well, but I can't see writing anything else anymore.
It's always a balance.
It is. It's hard. It's hard. And then there's cats. That
It's
get in the
constantly
way.
a juggle, and we're never going to get the right balance. So it's always rebalancing.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, I see the nice little messages on screen. To answer Kyle's question, yes, we should have audio coming out shortly. So yay for that. How I got into LitRPG is I grew up loving, like, they had the Ragnarok Online and WoW and EverQuest and all them. And I'd read the comics. I'd watch the silly Ragnarok Online anime, which was terrible, but I love it. And, like, you know, my friends would write all the, like, BioWare fan fiction. They had me read it, and I'd be like, oh man, if only we could write stories, but like playing a video game. And remember, I was when I met James Hunter, he was like, actually, that's the whole genre. That's all it is. It's exactly what you want. Oh, well, then I want to write that then. That sounds great. I was already doing it.
Nice. Well, thank you. And if anyone has any questions that they want to post, please put them into the chat so we can have these questions answered. I guess the next question that I have is, what challenges do you guys face or have you faced so far in female writing in a genre with predominantly male authors? Does that affect you at all or not? How is it writing these badass female characters? You know, how is that writing?
For me, the way I game is how I write. So I get a little obsessed, maybe a little obsessed, little no sleep, so I can, so I can level, so I can be the first to 50 or 60 or whatever the level is. So I write my characters like that. And for a lot of guys, even if you're saying, oh, not me, not every guy, and that's fine because we know it's not every guy, but there are a lot of guys out there who don't like the female guild leaders, who don't like the female raid leaders, who just kind of it's just not what they like. And so it's really hard to straddle that line of writing what I want to read and writing what the genre is going to like, what the main readers in the genre is going to like, because I like my women powerful, snarky, and a lot of times we'll just get told that they're a bitch, when if they were male doing the same things, they'd be cool. But because they're not. So I find that really hard. And so in my latest series that's about to come out, I'll just keep dropping that, with Tao, my main character in that series is actually a mom. And so the apocalypse hits. She's got 2 kids, and she's like, fuck this apocalypse. I'm not letting my kids die. And so she does it from like if anybody here is a mom, which I know we have a couple. You're the person who does shit. It doesn't matter how sick you are, how crappy you feel, how shitty everything is going. Oh, well, nobody else is going to do it. Guess I've got to do it. And so that's kind of, so I think she's much different than my other characters. She's 38. She's got a 13-year-old and an 8-year-old, and the apocalypse just hit. So I think I found a nice balance to write the type of characters I love, and I think people will like her. I hope people will like her.
People love everything you put out. I see, and I come out from a little bit differently. I've literally had someone ask me like, "Oh, how do you appeal to your male readers?" Because I have like I feel like for the most part when I was starting out, it was male readers, and I kind of just looked at them and said, I don't write for females and I don't write for males. I just write like, granted, my experience is colored a lot by my own gaming experiences. I wasn't ever one of those really, like, I am a competitive person, but for very short periods of time, and then I'm like, okay, this is taking over my life, do something else. So what my experience on the internet usually was the unicorn on the internet. And I either had a lot of guys hitting on me, or I had a lot of guys who were just trash talking me because I was a girl. And I took great pleasure. I've taken great pleasure throughout my entire life in teaching guys that if they think that because I'm a girl, I can't do it as good as them, and teaching them wrong and that I'm better and that I can do better. I did it in Frisbee. I did it in games. I just took great pleasure in that. And so that's always something that colors me a little bit, because I'm like, either guys were either really, I have some great friends that I made through gaming, and I've had some really crap experiences with guys being like, oh, you're a girl, you can't play shit. So it's been a mixed bag for me. And so that definitely colors, especially you see it a lot more in Lotus Lake because it was more of a VR environment. So that colored that experience more than it does in Siphon. But yeah. That's me.
Yeah, you know, I've had some of the same experiences of just, I mean, back in the 90s, I was in a women's Quake clan, and I mean, it's not like we were like top in the world, but we weren't bad, and we would just, you know what, we would just turn off chat, or just ignore it, because you just get so much abuse if you're, especially if you're winning. But we weren't always winning, and that's all right. But you know, it never really. I understand that the genre is male dominated, and I understand that most of the readers are men. But you know, the gaming population is actually a lot more mixed. I think that there are the loud people, and then my hope is that there's really just the silent majority who are normal people and not a-holes. So I don't know. It never occurred to me that would be a difficult genre. And I think it's true. We face some headwinds. I think you have to, as a woman in this genre, your craft has to be a little bit better than the average guy just to get the ratings. And that's okay. That's the way it is. If we were dudes writing in romance without pen names, it might be the same, you know, it's just the way it is. But and it didn't occur to me because I've always been in doing boy stuff. So
I think it says something that we all kind of knew this question was coming, where it's not asked, where, you know, the men will get asked, well, what are some of the struggles of being a writer? And the women get asked, what are the struggles of being a female writer in a male genre? But I know, like, I either get two responses when I play games online. I either get, you know, what's your phone number? I got marriage proposals back in WoW. Or they think that I'm a small 10-year-old boy, and they tell everyone to stop being mean to me. He just joined, and let the kid play. And I'm like, okay, that's better than the marriage proposals, I guess. But like,
it's funny.
specifically to like LitRPG and games, I think that, you know, there's this perception that gaming is for like young men, but like that was the perception 20 something years ago, those young men have grown up, and it was still girls played games too, and then all of us grew up. And I think, when I was talking to this lady who was worked at a game studio, she was one of the directors, it's more about like 50-50 now. Like, it's not like we're a minority. So I kind of resent the idea that every book in LitRPG has to necessarily appeal to a certain demographic, when the genre itself can be opened to, all the things we like about games. We have people who also like the kind of slice of life, they want to do more like Stardew, Animal Crossing. Those have an appeal to people, just as like, people like the power fantasy OP guy who comes in swinging his sword and he's just unstoppable one punch man. And, there's room for
That's a really good
all
manga.
of that. Yeah. And, so there's room for all sorts of things where like games shouldn't be defined by, video games are only Call of Duty type. There's it's a whole medium, and I don't think that LitRPG should be restricted. So
We've just got to reach more women. We've just
Yeah,
got to
no,
find
and that's kind of
more.
what I think, is that it's just that the men are the first ones who realized the genre was a thing, and so they
Yeah.
took over. But it's now expanding, and I'm gonna tangent for a second. I call the genre Frankenstein, because we took little bits and pieces of every other genre and we stuck them together to make Game Lit and Lit RPG. So, like, we have pieces of everything, and the fun thing about the genre is that it can literally be every other genre with games. And so, like, there is so much more. Like, it's not all the hardcore gamers and MMOs. There are Stardew Valley. I play Stardew Valley, and that's it's probably why I write slice of life a little bit.
And
there's so
And I like that point too, that it's not just, male dominated anymore. Over the years, there's been a lot of women who've gotten into this genre, who's gotten into the MMO playing, who's gotten into the RPGs. We're not, in the background anymore. We're in the forefront. I think that's a great point that you have, EC, in saying that, over these years, I think that's a misnomer, that it's predominantly male, when, just as many women, like you said, are doing this like the males are. I want to go to some of the comments. One user said, do you listen to music when you write? And I kind of want to expand on that. What are your inspirations for writing? What are some tricks or tools that you use to get you in this creative mood?
I write in complete and utter silence. I have my noise canceling. Dude, the playlists I have in my head are loud enough. I don't need any help. Okay. So I use noise canceling headphones. I have extra insulation because we built this house 2 years ago. We have extra insulation in these walls so that I don't get noise. I need complete silence. And when I write in
narrator.
bursts. What?
You're like a narrator. They need silence for their booth.
Yes, I need like silence so I can so my mind can just vomit. Like, I know that sounds and
No, produce wonderful things.
I know. Yes. Produce perfect
So you can
prose
splash rainbows on the paper.
straight out of the gate, so it never needs editing. Yeah, ask how my editing process is. Anyway, so it's like, for me, I'll get my ideas and they're great, but my characters don't listen to them. So really, my inspiration is part my own brain and then part, oh no, but we don't want to do it that way. Let's do it this way instead. Shit.
The characters don't listen. They just
don't.
tell you how the story goes and you write it.
And everything and anything. I can hear a song and be like, oh my God, that one word. I need to write a book about ketchup. I don't know. Like, I get one word and I'm like, wow, I need to write a book about a catalyst. Wow. Like, and that's how, like, I get stupid little, one word can give me an entire book idea. But it's like, I can't do it. I can't have sound. I just, like, I need complete silence. And I know, like, I'm one of the few people who needs that. So no, I do not listen to music while I write.
Monster.
I know.
I don't know how you can do it. I constantly have music going either in my head or always on, and I'm used to charting or taking minutes, so I will write down whatever I hear. So it's hard for me to listen to like anything with vocalizations because then I'll start typing out the lyrics and I'm like, wait a second, those aren't my words.
I
Hold on.
start singing. I will sit there and I'll just start singing. Or if it's music that my brain then makes up lyrics to, well, there's no book being written. There's just my brain making up lyrics to go with this music that I've just heard. And I'm like,
that's why I really
it.
love like instrumental video game music. That's what I go. That's my go-to.
I have lyrics to the EverQuest theme, so let's just no. I can't do that. My brain's like blah 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 blah. I'm just no.
I can't. There's just. I mean, it's got to be ambient or whatever, or it's just it's really. I'm not sure that I wouldn't go as far as Emily and just start writing down whatever they say, but I'm just lost. All my words are gone as soon as there's somebody else singing, unless it's like a foreign language or then I'm probably okay. But you know what I like is some of that mental stimulation type, like concentration music you can get on YouTube or Brain FM or something.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
I do admit I also do a cappella stuff a lot, and again, I am with you guys. It gets included in the book, guys. That's what happens when there are music lyrics in the book. It's because like Jay was listening to music that day, and it got
and now there are lyrics. Yes.
Nice. Well, another question that we have from the comments is, do you feel like writing in LitRPG has colored your opinion of modern games? And do you feel your self-disappointed games are like the books you read and write?
Yeah.
I really, really, really want the VR immersives that I can.
Right? I'm like,
I am just waiting for that technology. Okay?
I'm like, look, Skyrim in VR is okay, but I need to have my Somnia games. Can we just hurry that up, please? Can we?
I want the discovery and just the feeling of being fully in there and not like the mechanics are there, but you're just living it. So it's not like I figured out how to grind this or min-max this or whatever, and now I'm gonna do this until I get all the loot I want, and then I'm gonna go play the next game. I want it to be like I'm like living
and that's
in a fantasy world with rules.
Yeah, like you need the NPCs to be interactive to such a level that it feels real. And so every time a new game comes out, like I've just been playing New World, and I actually love it because like I bought a house, I'm making all of my furniture. So this time I am hyper focusing on crafting, which I don't usually do. I'm usually a get to the final level, get that boss, kill everything. But this time I managed to I had to, like, otherwise I can't stop playing. Like and I won't write anything and Tao will kill me. And then he wouldn't. He's too nice. He's a lovely guy.
He's not killed me for not writing in my book.
I know, right? But you'll get there.
I'm sorry, I'm not working out a book with Tao. What?
So I agree. I'm just like, I want to. It's just on a screen, and it's fun, but it's not. It's so amazing to feel like you're really transported. Like, wouldn't that be so cool?
It is, but that's like the defining factor is when the AIs and like the quest storylines are individualized rather than everybody has to do the same quest and blah blah blah. Like when your decisions and choices actually make a difference in the game.
Yes,
that's what we want.
When you can change the world. I've been trying to figure out if I could even do it, like take some programming stuff and like do that in some way, like text even, and like go back to basics to get the game part where players really make a difference on the world.
We'll alpha it for you.
There's so many. There's such little time.
I would offer up Lotus Lake. I'm like, somebody make the game off of this, please. Like, I will help you do the work. Just
I'll write the lore. We'll write the lore.
I've got abilities. Like, please, just ideas. Make.
Yes.
So I have another question for you guys. It's coming from Discord, and it says, "Oh, I'm so sorry, Emily. I'm so sorry. Forgive me."
Like 4 times.
We love you, Emily. You're very, very passionate. I know. I was just gonna say, for me, like I end up critiquing the quest design exactly for its lack of immersiveness. Where if like I love New World, I have been crafting everything, and I now like I'm playing exactly the same way I did as Valheim. I want to make all of the food. I don't know why that's like why I want to do it about the game, but like Final Fantasy Realm Reborn, even that was just like this grind fest where it's like go over here, do the thing, come back, go here, get 10 bear asses, come back, go over here, get
Did
them.
you
Like,
say
oh my
bear
god,
asses?
Yes,
yeah.
you did.
You have to kill
That's
30 bears to get 10 bear asses because they had don't drop an ass, and it's like
so good.
I'm
I
sorry,
was
maybe I
just
shouldn't be
like,
saying that on Facebook Live, but you know what I mean. But you know, it feels very like one steppy and padding and like so like I love New World and I don't want to talk bad about it, but I keep thinking no way I could write this into a story and have this be something that draws people in. So
yeah,
how
the
would
story
I
is not.
request?
It's
You
not
know,
the best.
go here and search the boxes. Okay, another search the box quest, and then you have to kill the 15 skeletons around it, and then you have to fill the 15 on your way out, and you turn it in. They say, "Oh, well, actually, I need you to go back to that thing and get this other stuff in another box." And I'm like, "Okay, this is not how you. How would I write this?" And then I think, how would I write this in a lit RPG? What would make it immersive? How would the quest design be changed? How would they actually design it? And so then that's why I let that influence how I make quests in my stories.
Yeah. I would have I may have in New World have read the quests for maybe the first couple of levels, and then I just went, nah, just accepting them. I'm just doing it now. I don't even care.
I don't care.
Like,
I'm
I just
here.
went,
There's corruption.
Yeah.
We'll get to it eventually.
When
We
it
don't like
doesn't
those
make a
other guys
difference,
over
I
there.
don't care about it.
look,
Go
there's
green.
hemp over there. I'm gonna go harvest it.
And I definitely do like there are definitely I make fun of those people in my books sometimes because I'm like, you aren't paying attention, you're not gonna get the information.
But that's
You're
why
gonna get
lit
punished
RPG
for
books
that.
are so good, because there's like hidden stuff and meaning
Snarky
and everything. And yes, but then you like go into the real world and you like play an MMORPG and you're like, that was a shitty
Did
quest.
you guys ever
That's a shitty story.
watch Epic NPC Man?
Yes.
I love Epic NPC Man. There's this one skit where the adventurer comes up to the NPC and he just hits skip, and eventually the NPC loses, and it's like you're going to listen to every word I'm saying. It's disrespectful.
If you haven't watched Epic
funny.
NPC Man, great YouTube series.
It's so funny. I didn't know it was called Epic NPC Man, but as soon as you said that, I'm like, oh no, I've seen that. Like, yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're Australians doing it. Could be wrong.
That's because Australians are awesome. Yeah.
Wrong,
Thank you very much.
Okay, so we do have a question from Discord that says, what expectations do you have from yourself and other writers when it comes to building up the lit RPG genre?
I don't really like most female writers write females. You'll see some I don't want to sound, I'm trying not to sound mean, but some guys say they write female characters.
And they just write a female
They're really
name.
not female characters. They just call them female characters.
Yeah, Vivid literally gets good.
Yeah. So from other women, I just want them to keep writing strong women who, don't take shit and who get the job done and who have a heart, because I think a direct quote from someone about one of my books was, I don't care if it's realistic. I don't want to read that shit. And so I was like every one of my books takes place over insomnia. It's 5 days long. 5 days. And when shit happens, I don't know about you, but sometimes I bottle shit up. And then you think you're fine, and you're not really fine. So, I had a couple of people be like, I don't care if that's realistic. I don't want to read that shit. And I was like, well, that's why you're single. Sorry, but that's probably why you're single.
I'm gonna point out there was another question that asked if we preferred to write men or women in LitRPG. I'm going to go ahead and say any writer needs to be able to write both. Just because if you can't write something that you haven't personally experienced, then you're a crappy writer. I'm just going to say that straight up. Like, you have to be able to put yourself in other people's shoes and write whatever they are. Like, and being a writer should require some level of empathy that you can do that. So it doesn't really matter to me whether I'm writing a male or a female. Yeah, the females can be a little bit easier to write for me.
Me too.
But I just expect people to write realistic characters, and I prefer that. So,
yeah.
So, to answer the questions, there are 5 cats. This one
5.
is Allie. To answer the original question, I agree with Jay. Where like, if I am writing about someone who's a completely different species, like there's some sort of dragon kin, and I can identify enough to where what would their life be like? What would their personality be like? I'm pretty sure like men can write women and women can write men. Because I can go and ask a man and be like, hey, is this how you guys would think? And they can be like, no, not at all, and vice versa. I can't go ask a freaking dragon queen. Like, so if we can make stuff up, surely we can like source from each other. Hey, can you give me this read? And they'll be like, why are you talking about the boobs so much or something? And it'll be like, oh yeah, I know that's something that bothers me when they think like the physical stuff. I don't think my character ever really reflects on her gender, or you just kind of, I never identify her gender until another person refers to her as she, because it's all in first.
Yeah.
But like, it's a woman because of how she.
Speaking of boobs, in
okay, now we have the whole chat's attention.
Sorry. It's just that my copy editor wrote a comment going, oh my god, I can't believe, thank you for mentioning this, because the main character in Town Under, because it's Australia and everything's creepy crawly and everything's getting mutated. So, I mean, it's half the fun. And these creatures that used to be like this big are now like this big, and they fall down from trees. And one of her comments is, holy fuck, I think that one just went into my bra. But there you go. So it's like, that's like the one, like that's the only bodily reference she makes to being female in the like book. Because that would be scary.
I would say just on growing the genre that, or continuing to advance the genre, that we have, I don't know that it's really, I wouldn't say that it's ever my place to tell other people what to write, because that's one of the wonderful things about it, is it's such a big umbrella, and gaming is so big, and what we love about it is so diverse. And so there's probably an audience for every author's or prospective author's interest in gaming, and that's fantastic. I do think for us to grow our audience, the more we put out professionally edited material, the better off we're going to be as a group of authors to get a wider reader base. Because I have talked to a lot of people that have bounced off the genre because and I think it's actually gotten a lot better than in the beginning. But I think it's something to just, as nice as it sounds to, put out a book and, collect the loot right then, it will pay it forward down the line to just get, even if you can't afford a professional editor, a really, really good copy editor or beta reader or somebody.
I know all of us get our work professionally edited. I've never not put a book out without getting it professionally edited, because I write a story, but my grammar is shit. And I'm Australian. I speak fluent German, and I've been in America for 14 and a half years. So we'll just let you... My mother's British and my dad's German. So
wow. I'm going to say... having been at 3 different conventions last month. So I went to 3 different conventions to try it, and basically I was just trying to drum up people because a lot of people just don't know it exists. And this kind of goes back to one of the earlier points that we were talking about, whereas most like people think that it's like girls didn't play as many games. I'm going to guarantee that they played just as many. They just might not be playing the same ones. Cause like, I admit one of my weaknesses was I got distracted by a really pretty like Otome game from Japan, which was, you know, like follow this Chinese hair, like you're in the palace and stuff like that. And I thought it was really funny. I was just having fun. I was doing it more for the culture than anything else, but it was like 99% women playing that game. So it's like, it was a very different dynamic than I'm used to, because I'm used to playing the games that are mostly guys, honestly, like League of Legends. It's mostly guys playing that game. Except for, you know, a few women now. It's getting more and more. But when I first started 10 years ago, it was mostly guys playing, and I started playing because of a guy. So, like, it's people are doing different games, but the audience is out there. They just don't know it yet. So, like I said, the first audience that found LitRPG and really got into it was a lot of the guys.
Especially people who are like truckers and people who like they don't have time to do their gaming anymore. Right. So they either listen to it or they read it because they get a game in like a book. Mm-hmm. And it's just so much quicker, and they're not spending sleepless nights.
Or it's for parents who have children and can't dedicate all that time to Eve.
Yes, which is so true. Don't get me wrong. I love my daughter. My daughter is fantastic and is very upset that I won't let her sit down and play New World with me yet. She's only 8. I'm like, let's just stave off the addiction for another few years, okay?
Come on, honey. You're killing people. You're murder hoboing.
Yeah, she'll be like, Mom, do I have to fight in that? And I'm like, yes, honey. She's like, maybe not. I'm like, okay.
Mine is 12 now, so we're all good to go. But
yes, now set her up to farm stuff for you.
Yeah.
But yeah, the genre. I feel like the women I know who write in the genre, and I think we know quite a few, because it's just getting more and more. Like Dawn, who couldn't be here because of time constraints. I mean,
in the chat though.
Is she? Dawn, what the hell?
Yeah, seriously.
It's like the end of her 16-hour day. I get it.
Yeah, she was like, oh no, I can't because I'm going to have to sleep. But dude, seriously. But like people like Dawn and like they all get their work done, you know, like they all get it professionally edited at least once. And if not, get yourself good beta readers. Like I have noticed a lot of people will come and go, oh, you know, is it true? Oh, we love you, Dawn. Is it, you know, people go like, is it, there was like this post in one of the groups. Is it true that LitRPG is just shit edited? No, it's not. Some of them are. That, like, I'd say we're probably getting, I know it doesn't, when I say it in my head, I'm like, we're probably at like 65% who get it properly edited. And then I'm like, that's not very good.
I would say if you want something that's well edited, just go for any of the, I mean, it means you're not trying out the newest authors who don't have the money to do their editing.
Yeah.
But if you do go for any, like, that was my response to him. I was like, if you go for any of the established authors, that you're going to get well edited stuff, because we've all, like, there was a time when you could have a hand-drawn cover and no edited, and that worked on Amazon. It is not the case anymore. Yeah. And those things don't get traction anymore. So if you're like,
yeah,
it's pretty easy. Reviews will not lie to you most of the time.
Have a good look at the balance. Have a look at some of the 5s, some of the 1s. Hey, my favorite 1-star review. Too much swearing in this book. Great book. Can't recommend it. Too much swearing. 120,000 words. 88 F words, right? That's it. In 120,000
You're
words.
only allowed 3 for
I'm working on 1.
I was like,
I had to edit a whole bunch out.
I was like, have you met a gamer? Like, have you met a gamer ever? Because they swear. Like,
I don't even like swearing, and I swear now because
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I grew up with like swearing is bad. Yes. And so, like,
so did I.
You've already heard me swear on this podcast.
I'm like a sailor, dude.
So, like, I'm someone who doesn't even like it, and because I've been around gamers so long, I do it now.
But yeah, that's my favorite one stuff because
Very
they loved my
seasoning.
book, but they were like, it's yes, literary seasoning. Do you know how many variations there are on the word fuck? Like, how many ways can you use that word? So many ways. Like,
I saw a thing
brilliant.
today about how you have to, if you're going to include it, you have to include it after the stress. So like abso-fucking-lutely.
Yes, absolutely, fan-fucking-tastic.
Yes.
You know?
So
Exactly.
there was a really interesting English thing on the English language that if you're going to include it in the middle of a word, it has to be after the stressed syllable or before the stressed syllable. I can't remember.
Fucking-tastic.
But yeah, anyway, so
we make our own words up all the time.
A made-up word is just a word that hasn't come into usage yet.
Right? My my copy editor was like, "This isn't actually a word, but it works." And I was like,
now
yes, I know.
people
Like,
understand it, and therefore it's a word.
Yeah. I don't even
I mean,
remember
words
what it
are
was.
added to the dictionary every single year. Why not?
Right?
Shakespeare made up half his stuff, and we use them. I mean, we don't use all of them. Some of them, but good words get used,
Exactly.
Yeah.
and bad words get used ironically, and then become common lexicon.
A fucking lot. See? That person gets it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So there's another question, and it says, how do you determine how many stats to include in your to include in your storytelling, or what stats to include in your storytelling? How do you determine that?
So I took EverQuest 2, and Vanguard, if anybody's old enough to remember Vanguard, because it's
I worked
Isn't
on
that the best
Vanguard.
game? I can't believe they screwed it up so
Oh, wow.
badly. I love you. I love you even more. I've always loved her. I chat her ear off whenever I can, and she's was in Vanguard. I didn't even know. Anyway, I took that, I put them all in a blender, and I hit switch, and that's how I decided on my stats. And I grabbed my enchanter and went. I played an enchanter in like all of the games, and I played a blood mage in Vanguard. Best class ever.
It's so funny because, okay, so I was the lead programmer and I don't remember the classes. Like, I guess it's just, isn't it pathetic? Like,
Wiped it out of your memory. It was so painful.
Blood mage
well,
was
there's
the
some things
best.
about game that I did.
Yes, you did.
There are things about game development that can be very painful. And I think that sometimes, yeah.
Yeah, so
You
I
wipe
like
them all.
so I just took the stats that I remembered using in all of the games and just kind of blended them together. Like literally, you will go through like the abilities that Murmur gets in Somnia, and they're pretty much EverQuest, EQ2, and Vanguard like mishmashes. So
I would say include as many as you need, and not more than that, because I get to my stat pages and I hate myself.
I
agree with
sat
Jay.
down and I was like, how many attributes or stats would be meaningful for if I wanted like to reasonably make advancement for 15 character classes. Because it gets like so diluted if you're like, and I've done that with skills in my books, and I'm like, you know what, I have too many skills. It's done now, they're there, but at least I don't put the skill page in very often because it's huge and like
it's a pain in the butt.
It doesn't have as much meaning, and then a continuity editor is like, you just gave your character a skill up and they got that skill up like 2 chapters ago, and I'm like, damn it.
That's me. I do that to people. I
Yeah.
will send them when I read friends' books, and I have my Excel spreadsheet because I make a new one for every single book I read of my friends because I just can't. My brain wants to track things, and so I will track them, and I'm like, oh, that's wrong, and then I'll send them spreadsheets afterwards, like, hey, can you fix these things, please?
Well, sorry,
Go
I was
ahead,
gonna say I have
Emily.
an Excel spreadsheet for each level, and then I also have keep track of all of the equipment and anything that she has. I can influence those, and then that gets pulled over and links to the next spreadsheet because I get obsessive about it, and so
My master spreadsheets are
like in
40 pages
VGL, I have
long.
to include the ones that exist, but then in the other ones that I'm working on, I include the ones that matter. So like the ones you expect, so like strength, con, vitality, intelligence, etc. But it's like, if this never factors in, if elemental resistance doesn't factor in ever to anyone at any point, then I'm not going to include it. So we're just going to move on. Like, what would matter to the game? How does it affect? It's not just there for flavoring. Like, the F word's there for flavoring. The stats are there to explain the concept of how they've grown and changed. And so, like, they got up a new level. What does that mean? Well, now they have this means that they're, because of the intelligence points they put in, now their spell power has gone up significantly, such that they can do all these spells much bigger that they couldn't do before,
It
because
hurt more.
yeah. So all everything that we did matters. Or even just I put another point in strength, and now I can carry all of this iron ore back to Elberfall. And
This monster. Monster. Katie's a monster. She does
You're
physical
muted, sweetheart.
so honey, you need an Excel sheet so that you can search function.
I have spreadsheets as well, but if I write everything by hand, I remember everything. Whereas if I put it in the spreadsheet, like, I constantly have to refer back to it. But I find that if I'm sorry, there's an alarm going off in my house, and my husband can't get up because he's sick.
You've got to double.
Yeah. So I I have to remember it. So I write everything by hand, and I have like a Bible for every freaking, like, these are my
It's
level
also,
ups.
yeah, it's easier for me to do it by hand when I can, because it doesn't break sort of the flow to tab out of whatever I'm writing to look at a spreadsheet. I can just look at something that's written down. So I really like the by hand.
Can't really see it.
What?
Is that where you wrote your stats? Is that?
No, I've got scars. I can't write things physically anymore.
I'm sorry.
I get arthritis. I broke my wrist into like 13 pieces, and so I can't write very well anymore. So
that wasn't overly clever.
No, bad idea.
But stat sheets,
you 100% do not recommend.
So stat sheets, I ended up thinking with mine, like in my books, Insomnia, like, okay, so the first 2 or 3 books maybe had like 5 or 6 stat sheets. I was going pretty crazy. And then by book like 4, I'm like, oh my God, I have to put a stat sheet in. And so I think I put like, maybe 3 max in every book. There'd be like a recap somewhere in the first few chapters. There'd be like 1 look at it somewhere toward the end, and then 1 pretty much at the end. And that was it. Because I was like, oh, come on. They know that the stats are increasing. They don't need to see it every bloody page.
See, but there are people who want to do it, and there are people who don't.
Yeah.
So, like, it's funny because you have to find that happy medium.
I know.
Like, there is, like, mine, I do it, like, with Siphon series, I do it every day because that's when she does it and gets her, like, major stat upgrades. So she looks at it once a day in book.
Yeah.
But, my books are, like, 5 days.
Yeah,
total.
I know how you feel.
I started breaking it up a little bit to put just the little relevant part, so that, if I was going to do a stat dump, it was only part of the stat dump, and not especially because it was the audio thing that really kind of got me thinking.
It's so hard. I'm just like, I hope they skip ahead during these parts. Like, I can't even listen to it during audio.
Yeah.
Like, I did not write these books for audio. I'm sorry. I was not considering it when I wrote it.
I don't listen to my audio. I'm just not an audiobook person because, like I said, my brain just keeps its own little shit going. So when Andy will send me the files, and I'll just be like, except you know what you're doing, we're good. Because, like, I know she knows what she's doing, very obviously. But, like, I would spend like 3 days trying to listen to my book, because I'd be like listening, and then my brain would be down some random tangent, and I'd be like, shit, I just missed like 5 minutes of the book, and I'd have to rewind it. And so I just don't, because I find it really hard to listen.
I'm so self-conscious when I hear my own words back at me.
No, I want to rewrite everything. There is one thing I'm actually really excited for, though, which is I'm really excited for the point where we can have the books, and then you can just like have a point where you're like, I want to see the stat sheet at this point, and like just have it be an alternate thing that you can just pull up as you want it.
Like a
That is
kind
what
of
I'm waiting for to
built
get.
in like algorithm.
Yes,
You thought
that would be awesome.
so
It's-
cool.
And you know what? If that same code could keep track every time I give my character a stat upgrade, like just in line, you know, then and I didn't have to do it. Perfect. Perfect.
That would be like the stuff dreams are made of for all this. Yes,
That is what we want. Someone go make that.
So,
Please.
Carrie,
go write
off you
that
go.
program.
Go write that program, Carrie. We'll alpha it for you.
Yes.
Free alpha.
Oh man.
Yeah.
So another question that came in is, where do you want to see the genre go?
I just
Stay?
want it to keep going.
I'd love to see it grow in readership. I would like for our books to be well edited enough, well presented enough that we can start, because some of these stories are amazing.
Yeah.
I want it on TV more.
Like, oh my God, right?
Netflix series.
Yeah. Give us a
And
Netflix
that's,
series. Just anyone.
I
I'm good
want a
with
Netflix animated series. I don't even want a real life person series. I want
Right?
an animated series
Because
I have so
animated
many
they can do
fucking
better.
characters that.
I like that you guys are dreaming big, but I would love if I say, "Oh, I write LitRPG," and then I go, "Oh, what's that?"
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that would be so nice.
I do that every con. I go to these cons and I do a
Baby
bunch
steps.
of panels and I'm like, please just, I will explain this a bazillion times, and I have explained it a bazillion times, but at some point I want to just have them know what it is.
Yes, I like that. That's
It's hard to explain too, in a way. I'm always feeling like, how do you communicate the magic of
Sci-fi
it?
fantasy with video game elements.
I usually say to them, have you played WoW? Which 90% of people have played at some stage in their lives. At 90, I said 90, not everybody. But people either know of it or have played it, and they go, oh yeah, isn't that like a role-playing game? And I'm like, that in book form. That's my answer. I'm just like, MMORPG in a book.
Alice
That's
can say, like,
just-
do you like playing Bioware games? Because those tend to be the people who would like my stuff. And like, do you like Mass Effect? Did you like Dragon Age? Oh yeah, I love those. The stories were amazing. Okay, imagine if you could read what you play of Dragon Age. And they're like, give me your book, put it in my hand, give me this. And I'm like, there you go. There's our readers.
Yes. But yeah, I would like to see the genre grow in readership, and I'd like to see some of these amazing stories find broader audiences, because I love the genre. I don't want to not write in the genre.
Right.
So
I really have not run into, honestly, enough female readers. I mean, I occasionally will get one from fantasy or somebody that comes over and becomes a really big, advocate. But I don't see like people going to their guilds, like women going to their guilds and saying, read this, because women in a lot of cases read more. And there are, I don't know, it's like 40% of MMO gamers are women or something, maybe closer to 50 now. So maybe they're reading and they're not speaking up, but I would love to.
I feel like that is the case. I feel like the men have been a lot more vocal on Facebook, especially, and in the groups. And I'm like, the women readers are out there, like, because I do get I get a bunch of messages from fans, and I get them from men and women alike.
Mm-hmm.
My favorites are the parents. Honestly, I love the parents.
Aww.
They make me happy when they're like, I finally found a book that I can read with my kids, and we both like it.
And take out your F-bombs. Just kidding.
yes,
I don't have any in my books.
She doesn't have any.
I might speak them.
Mine are not.
I say shit occasionally, but there's no F-bombs in mine. At the time when I started writing, I think my daughter was 8 or something. Sorry, KT, you're like, mine was 3 and I didn't matter.
Dude, that's just it. Like, I swear so much. I don't even know why. I don't think I swore this much. Like, before I came to the States. Now I swear a lot. So
we engaged the rage meter,
and I just don't fucking care. I find it expressive. I find it, so it's in my books. because 90% of the gamers I've gamed with swear like a lot more than's in my books. So,
Oh yeah, no, swearing is very common in
Yeah.
gaming.
now
Especially
when I
when you're trying to kill people.
when I wrote YA, it was different. There was like I didn't like there's shit is once in like my 270,000 word trilogy.
You can't do it in YA.
Yeah, but I technically write new adult to adult now. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. So I laugh a lot.
Nice. So I guess my final question would be, what advice or inspiration do you have for people coming into the genre? What would you say for someone starting brand new at Lit RPG? What kind of advice would you give on what to read, why you need to read it, and what's the best thing about Lit RPG?
I'll do this first for a second. First of all, you need to read. That is one thing. There is a book that came out recently that I was really excited because I thought it was going to be another female author in the genre. And, I feel like there aren't enough of us. There were very few. I couldn't find game mechanics in it at all. Like, it wasn't a game world. It was a fantasy novel I was like, okay, there needs to be more of this. So you need to read and you need to understand kind of what the genre is. Yes, you can tamper with it and tinker with it a lot, but there are some things that the elements do need to be there.
Did you mean readers or writers?
Readers. So readers coming in.
My bad.
Readers coming in. How do you get someone into the Lit RPG genre? Everyone loves the unicorn axe anyway, Jay.
Yes.
So we love it.
I got it at DragonCon and I've been playing with it ever since.
It's awesome. We've had some people saying they love it.
I don't know, like book series to get started. It depends on who the person is too, and what sort of games they've played, what sort of games they like to play. Like I have a friend who's written a freaking dinosaur lit RPG. What the fuck? Dinosaur. It is fantastic. It's called like Wraith, I think. Wraith? Maybe. Anyway, so dinosaurs. I'm a huge dinosaur fan. My daughter's a huge dinosaur fan. So, like, do you like dinosaurs? Read these books. Do you like MMORPGs? Read my books. Read so many people's books. Oh my god, that's a really bad dad joke.
You're banned.
That's a terrible pun.
It really depends on the person. Like, I love Michael Chatfield's book. I love Luke. I can't pronounce his name. Chmilenko. Did I get it right?
Chmilenko.
Yeah. Tao Wong. I love Dave Wilmar's books, Charles Dean's books.
Dakota.
I love Dakota's books. James, like, dude, I've read so many of them.
I love these people's
I
books.
love all of these people's books. There are just so many and so many varied, versions of Lit RPG that I can't just. I need to know.
System Apocalypse. Do you want a dungeon core? Do you want VR? Do you want a portal?
Dragons? Do you want dinosaurs? Do you want chameleons? I don't know. Does somebody write something with chameleons?
Oh, I'm sure there is.
I'm sure now.
Do you want city building, crafting, or
do you want a cook? Do you want somebody who was reincarnated as a farmer? Like,
do you want someone who's reincarnated?
Yes. There's just so many now. Like when we first started back in the genre, like in 2018, 2017, there was hardly anything. So you were told like 5 different series that you read. And now it's just like, well, there's a lot.
What strikes your fancy?
Yeah. So sum up your favorite 5 video games or your favorite 5 sci-fi series or your favorite 5. Hey, do you like Fast and the Furious? Well, read what is it? Alex Knowles' the street racing books that they've done.
I don't know.
There's street racing. Yes, there are street racing lit RPG books. There's so much. Like you can't just like that's. I'm so sorry, Tammy, but that is a really hard question. I'll shut up now. I talk a lot.
No, you're fine.
Carrie?
Well, we're going to be wrapping this up. Is there any about you guys' books coming out. I know, Jay, you said you're writing A Touch of Power book 4. I know, KT, you said you're having some books coming out. Emily, Carrie, what can we share with our listeners today about what's coming out? Do you want to give some kind of sneak peek? Is there some kind of little tidbit that you want to say, hey, check this out because I'm writing about this? Anything we can provide to these wonderful people online today?
So after a long hiatus from Stonehaven League, I am so excited to be working on book 8. It's just like, it was so amazing to pick up and just write in those characters again.
That makes me
It's
happy.
been a long couple of years, y'all, all around. But
It's been a long. Is it 2021 or is it 2000?
I don't know. It's rough.
But
I want to.
There's like barely a month until 2022. Okay, sorry.
It's still hard to go. I mean, I want to get back to writing fast, but I'm writing slow. But I'm
right.
Stress happened.
Just right.
Oh my gosh, it's just been yeah. Anyway, and then you know what? I cannot stop playing survival sims. All kinds of survival games, and I don't think I want to finish Stonehaven League, and then that's almost my motivation to go faster so I can write something like a survival sim LitRPG.
So Carrie's writing book 8. I'm writing book 4. Katie,
I'm writing book 1.
Book 1.
Actually, I'm finished. I'm writing book 2 of the series that's coming out on first. Yeah. It's in the System Apocalypse universe, but it takes place
in Australia.
15 minutes before.
And
Emily's
writing Perdition's book 3.
Yeah.
Yay!
Healer book 3 is coming out shortly. I just have a couple more chapters to finish up on it. It's called Perdition. And then to answer the question earlier, we do have audio coming out for Heartfire Healer. And Eunice is amazing. And she cosplayed my character, and I love her.
Oh, I saw that picture. It was awesome.
So exciting.
Nice.
Okay, we got to go.
Okay, we do. Join us on Discord. We do have, if anyone is participating in the code word is WHEN1. WHENONE. WHEN1. Thanks, everyone. Have a good one.
Bye.